Hello and welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this session, we are going to see current affairs of 3rd December 2025. So let's get started. And first of all, let us see the important articles of the day. The first topic is about WHO backs use of GLP-1 drugs for weight loss. So this article is appeared in the front page of Hindu Guys. So here you can expect a prelims based question like which of the following drugs are used for weight control or weight loss in humans. From that point of view, this article is very important. Just you have to see what are these GLP-1 drugs and what is the mechanism and for which diseases we can use this drug. And you have to see certain examples. And next topic is military presence in Lakshadweep to increase with new naval detachment. We are going to have a new naval detachment in this Lakshadweep Islands. So because of this, it is very important. And you have to see about some basic facts regarding this Lakshadweep because it is one of the important islands of our country. And apart from that, you have to see about why we are increasing our military presence in this Lakshadweep and what are the advantages we are going to get from this move. And this topic is important from geography point of view and as well as from science and technology point of view. It is also very important, and even from internal security also this article is very important. And now let us see the next article. Next article, it is about one scheme called as PM internship scheme. Only 20% of candidates accepted PM internship scheme offers. So here you have to see about what is that scheme, what are the facts, and why only 20% of candidates they got the benefits. And every year in your prelims, you will be getting at least minimum 3 questions from the schemes every year. So here this year you may get question regarding this PM internship scheme. And next topic is Russia wants to increase trade with India. So here you have to see why Russia wants to increase trade with India and what are the advantages for both India and Russia. And even you have to see what are the challenges between India and Russia relations. And this topic is at most important from your GS paper 2 under international relations. And already international relations is done, guys. So you have to add this article in your India-Russia relations. And next topic is how the river Kosi's shifting course exposes the perils of embankments. So here you have to know about river Kosi, and every year if you see PYQs of UPSC, there is no paper without asking question on river system in India, guys. At least minimum 1 or 2 questions you will be seeing in your paper related to this river. If there is any river which is in news, of course you will be getting questions from that. So here this year river Kosi will become very important because there are certain issues which are faced by this river Kosi because of this embankments, and we have to see in detail about this river Kosi. And this topic is important from GS paper 1 under geography, especially from Indian geography point of view. And next topic is a template for security cooperation in the Indian Ocean. So this article is talking about how we can improve security in this Indian Ocean region. So here this article is talking about one important grouping, and that grouping is Columbia Security Conclave. We have to see about the facts regarding this conclave. And apart from these articles, there are many articles in our news. It is related to especially Sanchar Sati app. And even in our studies class also we discussed about that. I think around 4 to 5 articles in our newspaper related to that Sanchar Sati app. And again, once again, we are going to see about that topic as well. And now let's get started and let us see each and every article in every dimension where UPSC can ask question in your prelims and as well as mains. And at last, I'll be showing you some prelims practice questions, guys. Try to answer that and give your answers in the comment box. Don't forget. Okay, see this first article, guys. WHO backs use of GLP-1 drugs for weight loss. So please make a note, GLP-1 drugs are used for weight loss. So what is the full form of this GLP? GLP is nothing but glucagon-like peptide. Where you'll come across is glucagon, insulin, these are hormones, right? So whenever we discussed about this diabetes mellitus, we discussed about what is the reason for this diabetes. So what is this diabetes, guys? Have you heard about this diabetes? Diabetes in simple we'll call as sugar. Diabetes mellitus is also called as sugar. What happens in this diabetes mellitus, guys? There is increased blood sugar. Why there is increased concentration of sugar in your blood? What is the reason? Which hormone is responsible for that? Insulin. Whenever your body is not producing insulin, or whenever your body got resistance to this insulin, you'll get this disease called as diabetes mellitus, where there will be very high concentration of sugar in your blood. So what happens if your body is producing enough insulin? Whatever the sugar which is there in your blood, that will be converted into glycogen. So glycogen is nothing but the stored form of sugar in your body. Who will convert this sugar into glycogen? Insulin. So because of this, whenever your body is producing enough insulin, your body will maintain proper blood sugar level, because whatever the excess in sugar is there in your blood, that will be converted into storage form. But whenever you're doing any fast, you're not taking food for one day or half day or like that, you will be feeling even energetic at that time. Why? Because this glycogen is converted into sugar. But now another hormone will act here, glucagon. Glucagon is a hormone that will be converting your stored form of sugar into sugar in your blood, guys. So because of this, even while you are doing sometimes fasting, you will not feel that much low levels of energy. Why? Because already your body will be having stored reserves that will be converted into energy instantly by this. Okay, so here if you see this GLP full form, it says about glucagon like peptide 1 receptor. Glucagon like peptide. So where this glucagon is there? In your diabetes mellitus. But this article is saying that these drugs are also used for weight loss. That means this glucagon like peptide GLP drugs, they are used for two diseases. First one is to control this diabetes mellitus, and even especially we are using it for chronic weight loss, weight management. So here you may get question in this way. GLP-1 drugs are recently seen in news because WHO also allowing these drugs can be used for weight loss now. You may get question in this way. GLP-1 drugs are seen in news. For which of the following diseases we can use that? We can use that for type 2 diabetes mellitus and as well as weight management. So in this way you'll be getting question. And another way where you can get question here is, which of the following are the examples of drugs comes under GLP-1? So here you have to write again examples. Examples of these drugs are semaglutide, SEMA. Please make a note, semaglutide, tirzepatide, Next one is liraglutide. So these are the three famous weight loss drugs that are available in the market, and these are the drugs which already approved by FDA, Food and Drug Administration. So FDA already approved these drugs, guys. So in this two paragraphs, you may get a question in your prelims. You have to be very much careful, okay? And now let us see about this glucagon-like peptide. Actually, this glucagon-like peptide is naturally produced in our body. After consuming of the food, this hormone, this is the gut hormone, which will be normally released in our body, and this plays a very important role in regulating blood sugar and as well as lipid metabolism and even appetite in your body. But what happens? Sometimes your body cannot produce that so and so thing normally because of disease conditions. Like if you are having any pancreatic disease like that, your body will not produce that enough level of hormones. And even in your intestine, if you are having any problems like cancer in your stomach or else like ulcers in your stomach, then what happens? This hormone will be getting like sometimes excess level, sometimes low level. So because of this, what happened? We will be taking the drugs from outside. So this GLP-1 receptor antagonist, they will be working as similarly as the hormone which is produced in your body, so that we can maintain proper metabolism. Actually, metabolism is related to your body weight. If metabolism happens fastly in your body, then you will be like very thin. If your metabolism is happening delayed, means you will be like having healthy body and fat body like that. So here this drug which is mainly focusing on proper metabolism of the food that you are taking, guys. Okay, so this is about how this drug will be maintaining body weight and how it will be controlling your body sugar. So it will be useful for two things. First one is diabetes control. In this diabetes, we have three types of diabetes: type 1, type 2, and gestational diabetes. Type 1 is nothing but your pancreas will not at all produce insulin. That is type 1. And type 2 is your body will produce insulin, but your body will not absorb that insulin. That is the second type. And third type is during this pregnancy, what happened? In this gestation period of 9 months, women can get this diabetes. That kind of diabetes is called as gestational diabetes. And after once delivery is done, she will come to the normal position. But only 1% or less than 1% of women, they will be carrying this gestational diabetes throughout their life. Okay. So here you may get question, be careful with that, guys. And now let us see the next article. Look at the title. Military presence in Lakshadweep to increase with new naval detachment. So where is this Lakshadweep located? Any idea? Recently we discussed about Lakshadweep and as well as Andaman Nicobar Islands, I think 1 day or 2 days ago. Why we discussed that? Because of increasing of population in this Lakshadweep and as well as Andaman and Nicobar Islands, we discussed, yes, why there is increasing of population in this Lakshadweep and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. You know exactly what is happening in this Andaman Nicobar and why these people are migrating towards Andaman and Nicobar, we know that. But what is happening in this Lakshadweep? Lakshadweep are coral islands and very small number of islands are inhabited, that is lived by the people in this Lakshadweep islands. And now we are going for increasing of our naval presence in this Lakshadweep. Why we have to increase our naval presence? Come on, think and tell me. Online students, please tell me in the comment box. Why we have to increase naval presence? What is the reason behind it? It is? Okay, it is a strategic location. It is present in a strategic location. It is very much near to our entire Indian Ocean region. We can increase our surveillance. That is the first reason, right? Next. Yes, even you are having issue of piracy. What is this piracy? Hijacking of ships. So if you are going for hijacking of aeroplanes, it is called as hijack. But if you are going for occupying of the ships or capturing of ships, then that is called as piracy. So which countries are involved in this piracy of ships? Especially Horn of African countries. So these Horn of African countries, already know that African countries are very poor, least developed countries. So especially ships which are moving in this region, this Horn of African countries will involve in this piracy. So they will capture the ships and they will loot whatever the things which are carried in that cargo ships and they will take away to their country. This is called as piracy. So we have to control this piracy so that we can ensure free and fair trade in this Indian Ocean region. That is the second reason. Accepted. Any other things that you want to say? Why we have to increase our naval presence? And you know that we are having a huge coastline. What is the coastline of India? According to recent estimates, 11,098 kilometers. Is that coastline safe? And if you go back to our history, if you see Mumbai terror attacks, Taj Hotel terror attacks, from where this terrorist entered India by this sea route, that means we have to protect our coastline clearly. For that, we need to improve our naval presence in this area. And next, any other reasons that you want to say? Come on, online students. Okay, let us see all those things. First of all, you have to know about Lakshadweep, where they are located and which kind of islands they are. Which kind of islands they are? I said about coral reefs, three types. Which type we can see here? Atolls. Lakshadweep or coral formation, especially we can see atolls in this Lakshadweep. Okay, let us see the context. The new naval detachment is a forward operating unit being established in Bitra Island. Please make a note this point. BITRA, Bitra Island is located in Lakshadweep. So you may get question like this. Recently, Bitra Island is seen in news. It is a part of. You'll be getting questions like Indonesia and Philippines, Andaman Nicobar, Lakshadweep. So now you'll tell clearly, madam, it is in Lakshadweep. But in examination hall, you need to have that kind of confidence. Okay, for that, please make a note and revise that whenever it is possible. Bitra Island is in Lakshadweep. Okay, so you may get one more type of question here. Recently, Bitra Island is seen in news. Consider the following statements regarding Bitra Island. They'll give 2 to 3 statements and they'll ask you to identify either incorrect or correct. Again, you have to focus on certain facts regarding this Bitra Island, exactly where it is located and why we are developing this naval detachment only in this area. You have to do certain research regarding this Bitra Island. See that place exactly in Lakshadweep, and you have to see like nearby islands of this Bitra, because this Lakshadweep is a group of islands. Where exactly this is located, nearby major islands, why India is developing that in this Bitra island only. All these things we have to see, guys. Okay, now let us see why we are going to have this increase in military presence in this Lakshadweep. And from this area, you may get a question, guys. Recently, our government of India is developing naval detachment. Discuss its strategic importance or discuss its significance. Like that, you may get means-based question, guys. And here I gave you 4 to 5 points, so you have to remember that. First one is there are increased threats in Indian Ocean region. What are those increased threats? As you said, piracy is there, and even drug trafficking, and even through this waterways. Even recently in AP, what is a case study? Black marketing of PDS rice, yes. And not only that, Houthi are attacking these ships. And next one is increased Chinese naval presence also. Because of this reasons, we are going to increase our military presence to safeguard our sovereignty, integrity, and territorial integrity and sovereignty. And next one here is it is very much near to this 9-degree channel, which is very essential for sea lanes or trade routes. In this area, significant portion of global oil and trade traffic will be there. That means if we want to ensure free and fair trade, obviously we have to increase protection in this region. That is the second important reason. And next one here, India forms as a part of India's maritime capability perspective. And we extended that till 2032, guys. And the important aim of this maritime capability perspective is we have to improve indigenous defense capabilities, and we have to increase India's role as a net security provider in this Indian Ocean region, because lots of geopolitical shifts are happening in this Indian Ocean region, right? So because of this, if you want to maintain our own net security role, obviously we have to improve security here. And this one is this move which mainly counters influence from China and Pakistan, and we can increase our surveillance and response time in a region. And as you all know that recently across this Kerala coast, what was the disaster? 2 ships sunken, and that led to increased thermoplastic nurdles issue. The ship name is Elsa ship. Can you recall all those 2 things? So here there is also increase of disasters or oil spills, sinking of ships, accidents in this water region, in this maritime arena. So for that also, for immediate relief and rescue operations, we need to have our presence in this region, guys. Clear? So for all these reasons, now we are going to increase our military. Okay, what is the key impact, guys? What will be the impact? The first one here is we can increase our security here. Especially, we can improve radar coverage, we can go for rapid response capabilities, and we can reduce piracy incidents, and we can protect at least 520 lives. Because of this piracy, whenever this people who are attacking the ships, they will kill the people or the crew members in the ship. So every year at least minimum 520 people we can save because of this increasing of security in this region. And next one here is we can also counter non-state actors, that is nothing but terrorism related actions in this waters. And next one here is we can improve our position in this Indian Ocean region. It will also helpful for countering of China's influence in this region. And we can boost our connectivity and infrastructure projects here so that we can go for increased livelihood as well. And next one is we can go for expansion of our leadership. Okay, all these will be like impacts of this move of government of India. And you can get both prelims and mains question from this area, guys. You have to be very much careful. Okay. And now let us see the next article. Look at the title. Only 20% of candidates accepted PM internship scheme offers, says data. You have to be very careful with the schemes, guys. Every year, minimum 3 questions. If you see from last 4 to 5 years of schemes of Government of India, from that you will be getting for sure questions, guys. You can check PYQs also. Every year there will be no UPSC prelims paper without schemes. And now here this article is saying about inefficiency of this PM internship scheme. Yes or no? That means only 20% of candidates they are using this scheme offers, but not all. Here you have to think why. What is the reason behind it? So if you want to know what is the reason behind it, first you have to know what is the scheme is about. What are the features of this scheme? If you know that, now you have to think that why people are not utilizing this scheme. Okay, let us see some facts. And the schemes, policies, acts, laws, which comes under which subject? Governance from GS paper 2, guys. Okay, if you see the facts here, this scheme provides students with internship opportunities to address youth unemployment. As you all know that the important problem in our country is unemployment, rise of unemployment. Regarding that, government is providing internship. What is internship? Internship is nothing but the training programs, yes or no? What is internship? Training programs. If the youth are getting this training, if they are going for skill upgradation, obviously they can fight against this problem of unemployment. This is that kind of scheme. And under this scheme, government wants to provide internship to 1 crore young people over next 5 years. The aim here is they want to provide internship for 1 crore people. It is not a small scheme. And here applicants will get monthly stipend of 4,500 from government and even additional 500 by the companies as a part of CSR. That means total how much amount they'll get? 5,000 rupees as stipend for every month. And not only that, they will also get one-time grant of 6,000 rupees will be provided upon enrollment along with insurance coverage under PM Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana and Suraksha Bima Yojana. Under that, they will also get one-time grant also. Monthly 5,000 rupees, and before going itself, they will be getting around 6,000 rupees as one-time grant. Who are eligible here? Obviously, youth means like who are unemployed will be eligible. So normally the age criteria is 21 to 24 years, and they gave minimum education qualification like at least 10th class SSC or graduates from premier institutions or any professional qualifications or excluded. Okay, so here at least 10th class is available and graduates from premier institutes are not eligible, and even professional qualifications are excluded. That means only the people who have the basic education they are going to get training, not IITs, not IIMs, and not professional courses. Only they have to complete the basic graduation only, not from higher institutions and even not from professional courses like CA like that. Okay, the employment status is must not be a full-time employment and family income must not exceed 8 lakhs rupees. Even they gave the criteria that their family should not have more than 8 lakh rupees as their income. And the families with government employees also not eligible. So this is the basic criteria that you know who will be getting reservation, right? The same thing here. And what are the benefits here? It will offer practical skills in real world environment, and even government will be providing financial support every month for them. Okay, why now there is a low acceptance, guys? If you see, they are targeting at least 10th class qualification. So where this at least 10th class qualification will be there? In normal in rural areas. Yes or no? If you go to urban areas, for sure they will be having intermediate or they will be having higher degree for sure, right? So here, whenever we are providing that skills, actually these people, they are searching for the jobs within or searching for the training within 5 to 10 kilometers of radius. If they are searching this internship from within this 5 to 10 years, there is any need of going outside or staying outside or staying in hostels. So that is a one major reason they are not willing to go for relocation for getting this training. Because of that, what is happening here? What is happening mainly? The people are not applying for this, and even they are going for urban or industrial hubs. So they will be talking directly to the industries to provide the skills. Where this industry is located? Are they located in the village areas? Of course, no. Because of this, many people, they don't want to relocate their areas. And second one is the duration of this internship program is 12 months. And it is like exclusively long compared to normal if you are talking about any course like even Java, Python, C, C++, .NET, whatever it may be. It is like 3 to 4 months only. But here they are providing training for 1 year. So because of this also, people are discouraged. People, especially you, they don't want to have this kind of long duration courses. They want to complete courses very quickly, that too with quicker certification method. And next one is lack of interest. So opportunities are mainly there in these industries and even finance companies and as well as IT companies. So many people who are from the village, they are from arts and as well as science background, who cannot get this kind of postings, and there is a mismatch between their graduation as well as posting. That is also one important reason. And this one is many a times there is no proper awareness and as well as promotion also regarding this scheme in the rural areas. And this one is there are a lot of times there are socio-economic factors, especially in rural areas. In certain seasons, we will be having employment opportunities like during transplantation time, and as well as sowing time and harvesting time. So if this course is for, if this training is for 1 year, can they go for 1 year continuously? No, that is also one important problem in these areas like UP, AP. Okay, so because of this, there is increased dropouts in this project case. So this is about this project in detail. I'll be giving you prelims question based on this at last. Okay, remember all these points what we discussed, and don't confuse while reading your statements. Okay, now let us see the next article. See the title, guys. Russia wants to increase trade with India. Okay, where is this Russia located? It is part of which continent, guys? How many continents do we have? 7. Which is the largest continent? Asia. Russia is the part of which continent? India is part of which continent? Okay, both countries are from same continent. And is Russia friend or a foe for India? Is friend. Okay, what is happening in the recent times? Do we have any challenges between India and Russia? No challenges. Trade deficit. Okay, next. Because of this Russia, whenever we started importing of this oil and when we started increasing our oil imports from this Russia, do we have any threat from any other country? Which is that country? From US, we are having a threat. What is that threat? Russia Sanction Act. US started imposing how much percentage of tariff? 50% of tariff. That is one threat, right? Next, other issues. Other issues. Okay, one more point you have to remember is Russia-Ukraine crisis. It has been more than 3 years. Russia waged war on this Ukraine from 2022 onwards. Exactly, if you see the date is 24th February 2022 onwards. Russia started attacking this Ukraine. The reason is Russia don't want this Ukraine to join in NATO. What is NATO? North Atlantic Treaty Organization. So that is the primary reason why Russia is attacking this Ukraine. That you know already. Okay, so whenever this Russia started attacking this Ukraine, Western countries started supporting Ukraine. Because of this, they banned Russia from one payment system called as SWIFT payment system. SWIFT. It is a car name, right? So in the same way, we have one international payment system called as SWIFT payment system. That payment system will allows the countries to go for trade, whatever the balance they had to pay for their imports and exports. Now they use that payment system to pay. But what happened? Russia was banned from that SWIFT payment system. So now India is not having any choice to pay in dollars through that SWIFT payment system. That is also one payment. That is also one challenge. So now what we are doing is we are doing trade in rupee ruble, in the local currency of Russia and in the currency of India. We are doing trade. Okay, that is a one more point that you have to remember, guys. And next, any other challenges that do we have here? We are getting lots of defense equipment, defense technology from this Russia. Is Russia delivering on time? Example, S-400 Triumph missiles. We ordered 5. How many we got? We got only 3. And 2 still they are pending. And we are expecting that they will be delivered by 2026 or 2027. And before delivering that, did we did any agreement regarding any other advanced technology? Yes, S500. And we have to think when, in which year you are going to get that. So all these things that you have to remember about in recent past, what is happening between India and Russia. Now see this title is Russia wants to increase trade with India. What does it mean? Why Russia wants to increase trade with India? Why not with other countries? What might be the reason? Based on your knowledge, come on, tell me guys. Honored students, please tell me in the comment box. Why? Why Russia wants to increase trade with India? See, from history onwards, when we started relations with Russia, you are aware about something related to India-Russia relations? Yes, when Russia supported, what are challenges, what are the areas of cooperation between India and Russia? You already wrote test also regarding international relations. So based on your knowledge, tell me guys. I won't leave you today. Come on. Okay, India acts as a leader of global south. Then what is the relationship between Russia and India then? Okay, Russia wants to invest in global south, so Russia needs help of India. Okay, accepted, 1 point. Next, come on. India-Russia pipeline, okay, accepted. Next. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, Russia wants to strengthen their economic crisis. Why Russia is facing economic crisis? What is the reason behind it? Why Russia is facing economic crisis? That is a valid point. Tell me, expand on that. Yes, because of war. Next one is US imposed sanctions not only on India regarding this Russia Sanction Act, but even other countries which are importing oil and gas. On them also it imposed this sanctions. So because of this, now what is happening? The trade of this Russia is declining. Because of this, there is no proper economic stability. And even Russia had been banned in the SWIFT payment system. There is also difficulty in the payments regarding trade with other countries with which Russia is doing trade. So because of this, this crisis had been still deepened. Next. As I said, India has started doing trade in this rupee rubles. Other countries are not coming forward to do trade with the local currency. So India is providing that opportunity. And this one is India is importing around 40% of oil from Russia. So it will become a major source of income for Russia. Okay, like that you have to analyze each and every point what is happening from last 2 to 3 years in this international relations, and you can write a perfect answer for that kind of questions. Okay, now let us see in detail. This article says that Russia is actively working with India to boost bilateral trade, and they want to increase the trade to $100 billion, and this was a target in this 2024 Modi Putin summit. But because of some disturbances between India, US, India, Russia, we didn't reach that target. Now here Russia is saying that we have to improve trade between India and Russia, guys. Why does Russia wants to increase trade with India? So you have to see that clearly. First one here is Western countries impose sanctions on Russia because of Russia-Ukraine war. So because of this, what is happening? Now this Russia wants to diversify their partners. And we want to increase trade with this India. Why? Because India is buying huge products from this Russia. For example, we are getting oil, we are getting defense. They will form huge amounts, hefty amounts, guys. And actually, in 2025, we have the trade around $65 billions. But in 2024, meet only they thought that we have to increase that to 100 billions. But we have to reach the target. That is the first important aim. And this one here is trade imbalance is happening. Russia exports 80% of the volume to India. And To reduce this India's deficit, they are also focusing on this BRICS goals for de-dollarization. So recently BRICS summit happened. In that BRICS summit, they focused on de-dollarization. There is increased relevance or increased prominence for this dollar in trade. So we have to decrease that dollar dollar presence or prominence in this trade. That means we have to go for trade in local currency that had been started by India and Russia. So because of this, they want to promote trade between India and Russia with their local currencies. And this one here is, as you all know that to counter India-US alignments, Russia has to deepen ties with India related to defense. That is one important thing. And this one is Russia gets the proper markets for the goods in India, and even after this post sanctions also, India said clearly that no country should involve in our Indian foreign policy. We know clearly with whom we have to make friends and who are enemies. So because of that kind of statements given by India, so Russia is having a firm stand or firm trust on India regarding this maintenance of trade, maintenance of bilateral relations, everything. So because of all these reasons, now Russia wants to increase its trade, and we have to increase our trade from $65 billion to $100 billion, guys. And what are the advantages? The first one here is, for Russia, India is important to counter China, and not only that, to counter USA. And even Russia will be getting revenue of around $40 billion related to oil sales in India itself. And even Russia will be getting advantage by selling this defense like S-400 missiles, S-500 missiles to India. And next one here is, we are going for settlements in rupee so that Russia will be getting immune from the SWIFT payment system. And next one is, for India, we are going to get energy security, especially we are getting oil at a discounted price. Not even any country in the world is providing oil at that cheap compared to that of Russia. So for our advantage, we are getting more oil from this Russia, guys. And this one is, it will also support our industrial growth, and it will also boost our exports, and we can maintain proper price in our country. We will not go for increasing of inflation or everything that is related to this oil. And this one here is, both countries will be getting mutual benefits. Okay, so those things that you have to remember, guys. And see this article, how the river Kosi shifting course exposes the perils of embankments. Okay, so here you have to know certain basics related to this article. Okay, for example, let us take, this is a river. So river which is flowing in this direction, river flowing in this direction. So what is the difference between sea and river? What is a sea? I've heard this word sea: Mediterranean Sea, Caribbean Sea, Black Sea, Arabian Sea. What is sea? Will water move? Water will be static. What about river? River is a channel of water which will flow from one place to another place. That is the basic difference between sea and river, right? So here we are talking about which river? Yeah, river Kosi. So this river comes under Himalayan river system or peninsular river system. So normally in our India, we have two types of river system, guys. Here we have Himalayas, no? So whenever we are having river system across this Himalayas, they are called as Himalayan rivers. And this part is called as peninsular India, right? So the river systems in this peninsular India is called as peninsular river system. In this Himalayan river system, we have three major rivers. First one is Indus, second one is Ganga, third one is Brahmaputra. So these are the three major river systems in Himalayas. They are called as Himalayan river system. And in this peninsular river, here we have Bay of Bengal, and here we have Arabian Sea. Rivers which will be moving towards eastward, and when they join this Bay of Bengal, that rivers are called as east flowing rivers. They are flowing towards east direction, and they are joining this Bay of Bengal. And here we have certain rivers which will flow westwards, and they will join Arabian Sea. They are called as west flowing rivers. Okay. In east flowing rivers, we have river Mahanadi, river Godavari, river Krishna, river Kaveri. They are major rivers. And in this west flowing rivers, we have Narmada river, Tapati or Tapi river. Okay. So these are the major rivers in our country. Okay. So here I said about river Kosi. River Kosi which forms in this Himalayan river system, and it is one important tributary of river Ganga. The problem with this Himalayan rivers is, what is the source of the water for them? We have glaciers. They are nothing but Himalayas. As you all know that Himalayas are hefty mountains. Because of that, even because of their height, what happens? Do you know why the snow is covered on this Himalayas? What is the reason why this mountains of Himalayas are covered with snow and ice? What is the reason? What is the reason, guys? High altitude. So what happens here is, if you consider this as Earth surface, whenever we are moving away from the Earth surface, temperature decreases. Yes or no? Temperature decreases when we are moving away from Earth surface. So how much temperature? For every 1 kilometer, around 6.5 degrees centigrade of temperature. So check once it is 1 kilometer or not. So this is called as normal lapse rate. Whenever we are moving away from the Earth's surface, the temperature will be decreases. And decreases 6.5 is correct, but it is, check once this, for how many kilometers or for how many meters this temperature will be decreases. 1 kilometer only? Yes, from 1 kilometer 6.5, right? Okay. So here if you take this Himalayas, what is the highest peak in this Himalayas? Highest peak in Himalayas. K2, we have Mount Everest, like that we have different peaks. And what is the average height of highest peaks? 8 kilometers, more than 8 kilometers. Okay, for example, let us take on this Earth's surface, we have temperature around 30 degrees centigrade. If it is 8 kilometer, how much temperature will be there at the top of this mountain? On the Earth's surface, it is 30 degrees centigrade. For example, it is 1 kilometer, it is 2nd kilometer, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. 8th is here. For every 1 kilometer, there is 6.5 degrees centigrade of decreasing of temperature. So here at 1 kilometer height, what will be the temperature? 30 minus 6. How much? It is around 24. If you minus again 6 at the 2nd kilometer, what will be the temperature? 18. If you go again 3rd kilometer minus 6, how much it will be? 12, right? Minus 6, 6, minus 6, 6, 0. So like that, what is happening here? Whenever we are going height, or whenever we are going from this away from this Earth surface, temperature will drops. Who says this? Normal lapse rate. And at how much temperature? Around 6.5 degrees centigrade. So because of this, what happened? If temperature decreases, whatever the humidity which is present in the air, it will be present in which format? Ice, solid format. So because of this, the hefty mountains of Himalayas are covered by snow here. So here what is happening now? The climate change is happening, yes or no? We are having global warming, increasing of temperature. So whenever increasing of temperature happens, what happens? Whatever the snow, whatever the ice, that will start melts. And whenever this water is melting, whenever this ice is melting, that will become the source of rivers in this Himalayas. So the important source of Himalayan rivers will be nothing but Himalayas only. Okay, because of melting of glaciers. Now what is happening? Melting is happening at a very faster pace. Increased melting of glaciers because of global warming. Because of that, what is happening? What about the water level in the rivers? Water level will be obviously increases. Whenever the water level will increases, then what happens? What about the speed of that river? Speed increases or decreases? Whenever the water level increases, there will be increasing of speed of rivers. Whenever there is increasing of speed of rivers, what about the sediments? It will carry more sediments or less sediments? More sediments. What are the sediments? What are the waste which is there on the sides of the banks of the river that will be brought up? Those are called as sediments. So what is happening here is, Now, the amount of sediments which are brought up by these rivers is increasing day by day in this Himalayan rivers. So, what happens? Now, let us say this is the flow of the river. River is flowing in this way. Now, increased water level happened, increased speed happened, and what are the sediments, chatta, chadaram, whatever it is bringing, it is also like increased. So, now what happened? They will start sedimentation process across the banks of the river. Have you ever seen whenever the river is moving, so we can see lots of sediments across the sides of the river. So what happens whenever sediments are depositing more, then what happens? It will change the course of river. Okay, what is the course of river is nothing but the direction in which river flows is called as course. The major problem with this Himalayan rivers is because of this melting of glaciers that led to increasing of water level and increasing of speed, increasing of sediments, that leads to fastening of sedimentation process in that river. So because of this, what happens? They will change the course. So whenever they are changing the course, then what happens? It will cause floods in this region, right? So have you ever seen, for example, if there is any drainage leakage happened, or normally you can see in Hyderabad, it is quite common. If there is any block in the drainage, what happens? The water overflow will happen on the roads itself. For example, if the drainage is flowing in this way, if something had been blocked, what happened? It will be taking other route, right? The same way rivers will also change their course of river because of this sedimentation. Who will bring that sediments? This river only will bring that sediments, and because of this change of this course happens. So because of this change of this course, what happens? It will cause floods in this area. For example, let us take whenever this course of river is in this way, there were lots of houses which are built in this across this, but the course changed. What happened now? It will cause floods in this region. That is a problem. That is called as embankments. Whenever we are creating any embankments on these banks of the river, because of this change of course of these rivers, especially Himalayan rivers, that is causing sorrow. So because of this, Kosi is called as sorrow of which state? So we have two rivers you have to remember, sorrow of Bihar and sorrow of Bengal. There are two rivers which are called as sorrow of Bihar and sorrow of Bengal. Any idea, anyone, guys? And you will be getting question on this. Come on, think. Kosi is sorrow of. What is about Bengal? Not Son. Who not Hooghly? Damodar. Okay, like that you have to remember, guys. So why they become sorrow? Because often they will change their course. Oftenly, every time they will change their course. Because of that, that will cause us floods in the areas where people will stay. Okay, because of this high, fast rate and fast movement of water, it will cause havoc in that region, guys. The same thing which is said in this article. How river course is shifting course. Have you understood now? Course shifting exposes perils of embankments. Okay, now let us see some facts regarding this river Kosi. The important fact regarding this river Kosi is it is a transboundary river. That means it flows between countries. Which are those countries? We have China, Nepal and India. And it's a one important tributary of river Ganga. Ganga is also called as Ganges. River Ganges or river Ganga, same. And where it is originated? The river Kosi is formed by the confluence of three streams. Streams means nothing but, have you heard this Paya antar? Normally in Telugu we'll call as Paya. So three small streams, they came together and they formed this river Kosi, and you have to know that Sun Kosi, Arun Kosi, Tamur Kosi. And they origin in the Himalayan regions of Nepal and Tibet, guys. Okay, and next thing you have to see is okay, because of the great outflushing of debris. So we have lots of debris because, as you all know, that Himalayas are formed by the plate movements, and they are having which type of rock? Sedimentary rocks. Sedimentary rocks contain sediments only. So whenever this water will be moving at a very high fast rate, erosion will be at very faster rate, so that it can carry more sediments. Because of great outlushing of debris or nothing but sediments, Kosi has no permanent channel in its course. Okay. and it is well known for its tendency to change course generally in the westward direction. For example, if you see the how this course is changed in this river Kosi, if you see from last 200 years onwards, the westward movements of 112 kilometers happen from last 200 years. That means on average per year around 0.7 kilometers or 0.8 kilometers of moving of this river is happening. That means around 800 meters. You can see how it is creating havoc in this region. Okay, are you understanding now? And this one is river Kosi is called as sorrow of Bihar, and it has caused widespread human suffering in the past because of flooding and frequent changes of course when it flows from Nepal to Bihar, guys. And the important tributaries of this river Kosi are San Kosi, Tama Kosi, Tamba Kosi, Dud Kosi, Indravati, Likhu, Arun, Tamur, and Tamar. Even you have to remember these tributaries. So check once PYQs of this river system, guys. Based on that, you will be getting some idea like how UPSC will ask questions. So UPSC will be asking questions like consider the following statements regarding river Yamuna or river Ganga, and they will give you like 3 statements. That will be easy. Sometimes they will be asking you questions like which of the following are right bank tributaries, left bank tributaries. That will be like somewhat confusing. And sometimes UPSC can ask like river Ganga flows in how many states? Arrange them from east to west or west to east. Again, you have to know clear-cut mapping point. And next, you may get questions like so and so tributary is joining this river Ganga at which place? Okay, so like that, you have to check your PYQs so that you can understand exactly how UPSC is framing question. And recently in 2024 or 2023, this kind of question they gave a box format. On one side, they gave the rivers. On one side, they gave the place of origin. And even one more thing they added here, tributary or like that. So like that, they also asked pair-based questions. So you have to be very, very careful, guys. So to understand UPSC, you have to see PYQs. Then only you can understand the mindset of UPSC, how they are giving questions. Unless and until if you see this PYQs, you will not get an idea like how questions will be asking. And if you don't know how questions will be asking, then for sure you will not clear UPSC. Okay, see this PYQs. Okay, now let us see the next article, guys. Title says Zero Stars mandating the Sanchar Sathi app. In yesterday's class, we discussed about the Sanchar Sathi. No, why it is in news? Department of Telecom mandatorily said that every phone company has to pre-install this Sanchar Sathi app. For what? We can track this international number, whether that phone is like original or any fraud, and even we can complain about fraud calls, fraud messages, everything. And if there is any loss of mobile also, we can retrack that easily. So for all this, we have lots of advantages of the Sanchar Sathi app. But there are lots of issues which are raised in our newspaper, that is about concerns. So now let us see about concerns. You already know about this facts regarding this, right? What are the key features? It will report lost or stolen phones. We can check mobile numbers, and we can report fraudulent calls, scam message, and even we can have a trusted customer care numbers, and that app is not deletable. All these things we discussed. What are the aims? To protect citizens from fake or duplicate or tampered mobile devices, and to prevent SIM frauds, identity misuse, and even it will provide easy report loss of stolen phones for the citizens, and even it can support cyber security. And this one is it can improve transparency. All these are the objectives. But what are the concerns here is, so here we are going to store this international mobile number. So because of this, it can link it to telecom data, so that there is a loss of privacy. That is the first issue. And next one is there is also a possibility of unauthorized access to user data. Again, what happens? Whenever you are downloading any app, it will say that I will have access to your photos, messages, everything. We will not read all those things, just I'll click I will accept. No. Even the Sanchar app also, it will be having access to the things which are there in your mobile. So because of this, again, there will be a theft of data or security issue. And this one is there is no clear and transparent policies of data usage, data retention, and data deletion also. And there is also potential risk if app permissions are misused by third parties. Okay, these all are the issues which are raised by today's articles case. Yesterday's articles only said about what are the key features, how it is going to be advantage, and why government said this. But now the discussions are going on regarding the Sanchar Sathi app in different news channels. It is like a hot topic now. So because of this, now many articles said about these concerns. You have to see both the sides of the coin. Okay. And there's one article, guys, see this, a template for security cooperation in Indian Ocean. So actually it is talking about one conclave called as Colombo Security Conclave. For sure, you may get question regarding this kind of conclave. Okay, now let us see what is this. It is a regional security grouping which includes countries like Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Maldives, Mauritius and Seychelles. But recently other countries also joined this conclave. Okay, yes. See, recently Seychelles is the 6th number. So please make a note, guys. Colombo Security Conclave contains Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Maldives, India, Mauritius and Seychelles. It is a 6-membered grouping, guys. An important objective of this Colombo Security Conclave, it is to promote regional security. How? By addressing transnational threats and common concerns for these member states. Okay, actually initially when it was formed, it was a trilateral maritime security cooperation. Initially, whenever it was formed in year 2011, only 3 members were part of this conclave: Maldives, Sri Lanka and India. And later on different countries joined this organization, guys. And important objectives are, first one is enhancing maritime security and countering terrorism and radicalization, combating trafficking, organized crime, cyber security, humanitarian assistance, etc. And we have permanent secretariat at Colombo. Okay. So here whenever you're writing any answer regarding maritime safety, security, countering terrorism, and even combating trafficking, etc., you can use this organization also. We have Colombo Security Conclave, where India is a founding member, which is focusing on all these issues. Okay, like that you have to use this kind of articles, guys. So let us see the prelims practice questions, see the statements clearly. Consider the following statements. First one, the Colombo Security Conclave was originally a trilateral initiative including India, Sri Lanka and Maldives. Including Sri Lanka, India and Maldives. See here, what is the first point I said? India, Maldives, Sri Lanka. When? In 2011. Is that correct or wrong? Correct? Okay, second statement, see this. Mauritius is the latest country to join CSC as a full-time member. And next, permanent secretariat of CSC is located in New Delhi. It is Colombia. So even though if you don't know the second statement, if you have stuck in the second statement, read the next statement. You will be getting certain clue. It is in Colombia. That means for sure 3 is wrong. And in these first 2 options, 2 is there. So like that you have to guess the correct answer. The guessing will be work. Guessing only works in prelims. Not even, you cannot answer for sure 100% 25 questions, not more than 25 questions, guys. In 100 questions, if you are doing 25 questions, means you did good preparation. But remaining, you have to come till 60 or 65 through this method. If you don't know that, don't get panic in examination hall. So you have to see other things and try to eliminate the things based on your observation, based on your pre-existing knowledge. Okay, say this second one. Consider the following statements about PM internship scheme. It provides a monthly stipend of 5,000 fully funded by government. Second one, the scheme targets youth aged 21 to 24 who are graduates from recognized institutions. And next, participating companies bear the full cost of one-time 6,000 settlement allowance. Read carefully. Which statements are right and which statements are wrong? Actually, I have to give here incorrect. Now think and tell me now. So here it provides monthly stipend of 5,000 fully funded by government. It is fully funded by the government. I said 4,500 by government and 500 will be from CSR of that company. Yes, it is for sure wrong. Next one is the scheme targets youth age 21 to 24 from recognized institutions. Next, participating companies. Participating companies bear the full cost of one time rupees 6,000 settlements. Who is giving the 6,000 settlement? Is that company giving? Government is giving, no? So many of you might have read the statements, understood the statements in the wrong way. So that will be the problem with the schemes. Have you understood? So if you know well about that scheme also, sometimes the statements we will not interpret in the right way. So answer is D 1, 2, 3 guys. Okay, have you understood? So in this way you have to be very careful while solving this kind of questions related to schemes. For sure there will be loops. Okay, many students they might have not read about these companies here fully. Okay, that kind of traps will be used by UPSC. You have to be very careful guys. Prelims is not that much easy. Okay. Yeah, these are the important topics that appear in our today's Hindu newspaper, guys. By this, I'm concluding. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. And if you really like this class, please do hit the like button and please do share this class for your friends also. And if you have any suggestions regarding this analysis, please do give your suggestions. We are going to accept your suggestions and we are going to incorporate that in our next classes. And you can follow us on our Telegram channel where we are providing PDF of this class, and as well as you can follow us on our Instagram channel where we are providing prelims question with answer, mains question with model answer, and also current affairs in short guys. Thank you so much guys for watching.